Let me ask you, have you ever struggled managing money? Maybe maybe it's been a source of conflict in your family, maybe in your marriage, maybe just personally, you've had a real difficulty trying to get a hold of money and being a good manager of money. Well, I have good news for you because the book of Proverbs speaks to money management. The wisdom of God helps us manage money. And so I want to share with you 4 lessons that I believe Proverbs presents to us and shares with us that I think we can take hold of. The first lesson is this, and I think each one of these lessons will help us manage our money better. Number 1, money should never become the God of our lives. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9 says, honor the Lord from your wealth and from the first of all your produce. The Bible calls us to honor God from our wealth. In other words, God should be first, wealth second. Never should wealth become our God. It is the love of money, that's the root of all evil. You see, the Bible talks to us about being stewards and helps us understand that God owns everything. And since God owns everything, the money we have, God owns it. And so we are just managers of that which God owns. He entrusts it to us. We are to be good managers, good stewards of it. And so we need to make sure we never make a God out of money. Money should never become the God of our lives. The second lesson Proverbs shares is that we should not be afraid to embrace God's financial plan. Maybe you never thought about it this way, but God's financial plan is quite a bit different than the world's financial plan. Matter of fact, God says, if you'll honor me with your wealth and give to me what is due me, then I will then supply your needs. And Paul says in Philippians chapter 4, verse 19, that he'll supply our needs according to his riches and glory. And so we are giving to God what is due God, and then God will then in turn supply our needs. And so I want to encourage you to not be afraid to embrace God's financial plan. The third lesson is we need to embrace God-honoring generosity. It's good to be givers. God is a great giver. He spared nothing when he gave us his son, Jesus Christ. And so we need to embrace generosity. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 9 says, he who is generous will become blessed, for he gives some of his food to the poor. Now, there's a few things that I think can hinder us from being generous people. Number 1, we're concerned with acquisition of wealth. We've made it our goal to see if we can get as much as we can get. And Proverbs 23, 4 and 5 says, do not weary yourself to gain wealth. Cease from your consideration of it. When you set your eyes on it, it is gone. For wealth certainly makes itself wings like an eagle that flies toward the heavens. I don't believe it's wrong to save, but I believe it's wrong if we make the sole goal of our life to see how much money we can gain and just acquire as much wealth. And so if we're doing that, then we are not wanting to be generous because we're wanting to gain wealth. The second thing that I think can hinder generosity is not understanding the principle of sowing and reaping. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6 says, now this I say, he who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. In the context of giving, if we sow, we'll reap. If we don't sow, we won't reap. And so we need to understand sowing and reaping. And then we need to make sure we don't boast about what we give. The Bible, Jesus in Matthew chapter 6 talked to us about, don't shout from the rooftop. Don't go out and say, hey, look at me. This is what I've given. And so we need to make sure we don't boast about what we give. The fourth lesson is this. We need to avoid financial pitfalls. Now, there's several financial pitfalls we can get ourselves into. And so I give you 5. We don't need to get caught up in get-quick-rich schemes. So many people try to win the lottery, get quick rich. And so they've spent a mint day after day, month after month, year after year trying to win the lottery. And so we need to make sure we don't get caught up in get quick rich schemes. Secondly, we don't need to let the pursuit of pleasure drain our money. We may be caught up in some sort of pleasure in life that we really enjoy, and so we just spend money. And maybe it's a hobby or something, and it's really taken a hold of us, and it begins to drain our bank account. Number 3, we don't need to let debt consume us. Number 4, we don't need to fail to save. We need to save, and then we don't need to let wealth change us. Sometimes wealth can change us. A poor man thinks he's nothing, and a rich man who's not much different than the poor man, that wealthy man thinks he's everything. And so we need to be careful with that. So, hey, listen, I hope these 4 money managing lessons from the Book of Wisdom will impact your ability to manage your money. God bless. Have a great day.